To the hardened battlefield veteran, the L85A2 may not seem like an obvious choice. There are a number of other assault rifles that you always see the scoreboard toppers using, like the M416, Scar H, AK-12, and of course the Ace-23, just to name a few. But I'm here to pose the question, where is the love for the L85A2? Is this often forgotten weapon a hidden gem amongst the lesser used assault rifles? And should you probably start using it more often yourself? It's time to get hypothesizing on Guns with Griz. What's happening, guys? It's your old pal Grizno here, trying to get back to my roots a little and start doing more of these weapon reviews. Today, we're looking at the L85A2 Assault Rifle at the request of one Manraj. That's it, let's just stop right there before I embarrass myself attempting to pronounce that last name. But yeah, he wanted to see the L85A2, so I am happy to oblige, of course. Now, he did leave some attachments there too, but I'm not really into doing the full loadouts anymore, as you guys know. I just do the weapons themselves now and let you know what the attachments I like to use on the MAR. So as always, make sure you're going to leave me a suggestion today down in that comments section below on what weapon you want to see next time. But let's get this review started, shall we? So what I said earlier about the L85A2 being one of the less popular assault rifles is not something I just made up. According to an article on mpfirst.com that ranks all the battlefield weapons from most to least popular, and then in their own respective categories as well, the L85A2 comes in just under the halfway point on the list of most popular assault rifles. So first of the losers, essentially. But this most certainly does not reflect the weapon's effectiveness, trust me. The L85A2 is kind of a hidden gem when it comes to the assault rifles. It has really well-rounded stats and is so easy to control, and I found my time using it to be quite enjoyable over the past week, considering it was probably my first couple games in like almost 2 weeks. But speaking about those stats, let's check them out so we can see what we're dealing with here. The L85A2 does its maximum damage of 24.5 inside 12.5 meters before damage begins to drop off, ending at 60 meters where it will do its minimum damage of 18. Magazine size is 30 plus 1 in the chamber for 31 total, and the reload times are 3.75 seconds when empty and 2.55 seconds with a round still in the chamber. The L85A2 fires at a rate of 750 rounds per minute, and its bullet velocity is 640 meters per second. Finally, the recoil values on the L85R2 are very consistently low in all three directions, so you will find it to be very easy to control, and I'd put the overall recoil in the low area. So that is probably the first thing you'll notice about the L85A2 when you start using it, is that there is very little to no recoil on this thing. The one thing that you do want to watch out for with the L85A2 as far as how it fires goes is it does have kind of bad bullet spread when you're firing on the move. The L85A2 can be very versatile and effective at various ranges, but it's most accurate when you're standing still while firing, due to that significant increase in bullet spread it gets when you're on the move. This is something you more so want to keep in the back of your mind though, as you can still run and gun with this guy. I guess that whole standing still, if at all possible mentality can be applied to pretty much every weapon in this game, but it's definitely worth mentioning on the L85A2 because he did kind of get the crappy end of the stick in this area, and it does have a significant increase to the spread when you're firing on the move. But again, that's not to say that you can't run and gun with this guy at all. The L85A2 is actually pretty decent as a run and gun weapon, but in my opinion, it's just not its strongest area. Hipfire is good, but not amazing. It's right in that mid-range area, so you know, there's some that do it better, and there's some that aren't quite as good from the hip as the L85A2. It's got a nice rate of fire too at 750 rounds per minute, so no complaints there. So yeah, where's the downside? I'm looking for it. Looking, there we go. The reload times. This weapon has some pretty lengthy reload times due to the fact that it is a bullpup assault rifle, so 3.75 seconds for a full reload can feel like an eternity in some situations. Obviously you want to try to hit the tactical reload as much as possible with the L85A2, but even then 2.55 seconds is nothing to cheer about. Overall, I'd say your best option as far as playstyle goes when you're using the L85A2 is to be that healing and reviving rock for your teammates and push up as a group rather than trying to be James Bond and going off on your own. The L85A2 is perfect for a more conservative approach, staying back behind cover and picking off enemies at medium range. Don't be afraid to use a magnified scope of some sort on this assault rifle because its really low recoil will have you nabbing those kills from a nice, safe distance. It's very accurate and controllable, so as long as you're not running around and jumping around like a madman, you know, just treat it like the delicate headshot artist that it is, and you will be rewarded. So let's talk a little bit about attachments and loadout options for the L85A2. This is a really fun weapon, I feel like, because unlike the others that, you know, certain attachments just don't work well on it, the L85A2 can pretty much handle whatever attachments you decide you want on it, and it'll still perform well. It is by far one of the most fun weapons to customize in the game, if you ask me. You know, like the muzzle brake or the compensator for further recoil reduction, L85 can do that, do well with that. Like a suppressor to stay off the minimap, L85 can do well with that. Like an angled grip and burst firing, L85 does amazing with that. Like holding down that trigger, stubby grip works well. Like a magnified scope, okay, you get the idea. My point is, there's not a whole lot that you can put on the L85A2 to make it unusable or anything like that. Seriously, go nuts with whatever your favorite attachments are. I personally really enjoyed this loadout I had going on right here. It's the FLIR optic with a suppressor, laser, and the stubby grip. It worked out really well here on Operation Locker, even with all the flares people were throwing about. Ugh, the flares. I wish there was like a water pistol gadget you could choose that you could like put them out with or something. That would be awesome. For all the FLIR users who get screwed by the flares, you could have like a water pistol to squirt them out with. That'd be hilarious. But for all, but even with all the blindiness going on, I still managed to go like 44 and 14 in this game or something like that. All thanks to the L85A2 right here. And although the suppressor didn't really do too much for me here, being that Locker is always craziness everywhere anyway, I really wish that I had it on that Paracel Storm Rush defense at the beginning of the video when I got in behind all of those dudes. Oh man, if I had the suppressor then. Anyway, even though it didn't do a whole lot for me here, I still really like the suppressor on the L85A2, mostly because you can be that silent assassin almost from with it, staying hidden and deadly from the outside of the chaos. The stubby grip I found also really helped down here in the Locker, as I really like that added accuracy to firing full auto. But really, like I mentioned earlier, this weapon can benefit from almost any attachment available, so I think it is very highly customizable, which is a great thing. But now it is time for the rating of this weapon. Time to find out where it lands on the scale of badassery. I'm gonna give the L85A2 a pretty high score on the scale of badassery, actually. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of a possible 10 Robert Downey Jr.'s because, well, it's pretty badass. Give it a try next time, guys. You won't be disappointed. That's the Griz no guarantee. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Guns with Griz. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of my review. Anything I missed, feel free to point it out too, as long as you're not an ass about it. Please consider leaving the video a rating on your way out, guys. If you liked it, leave it a like. If you didn't like it, leave it a dislike. I'm okay. I ain't gonna cry. As always, if you're new to the channel and you liked what you saw, I'd absolutely love it if you decided to become a subscriber. I promise I'm gonna do my best to keep getting these reviews out to you guys from now on, so expect more. Oh yeah, and don't forget me to leave me a suggestion for the next weapon you want to see on the scale of badassery. Toodles.